We also have with us on the broadcast Middle East expert Daniel Boardman. We have Israeli writer Aran Lev also joining us on the broadcast. Daniel, if I could come to you first, what do you make of the situation at the moment? As we've been talking about it, Iran has said that the attack is over. But what are we expecting from Israel?
It's an interesting question. I mean, you should expect some sort of Israeli pushback to this. Don't expect the Israelis to launch a bunch of indiscriminate missiles at Tehran. No, Israel and Iran are fundamentally different countries, and it's a fundamentally different situation. So the reason why the Islamic Republic of Iran felt like they needed to do something to Israel is because Israel has been quite successful in undermining the IRGC, which is the international arm of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So because the IRGC is their main weapon against Israel, it doesn't make sense for the Israelis to launch a ground invasion of Iran. No, they'll probably show that they can touch Iran territorially too, but their success is not from terrorizing civilians. That's what Iran want to do, is launch as much missiles as they can, whereas the Israelis would focus on undermining the capacity of the regime going forward. So expect. And it also depends on what the Americans do, if they're going to establish deterrence or not. Will the Israelis have to do it themselves? All of it depends on how the chips fall. But I wouldn't expect some, cowboy they fired missiles, we need to fire missiles back. This is a significant change where you have territorial Iran attacking a territorial Israel. But it's impossible to know what are the Israelis going to do because some chips still need to fall.
Okay, all right. Let me also go across to Aran here. Well, Aran, what do you make of the situation here? How do you see it, the crisis that's unfolding? We don't think this is going to end right here.
Thank you for inviting me. I mostly agree with Daniel and Vishnuji that in a way Israel now has a choice. Israel can decide that we attacked them, they attacked us, and now nobody wants a new front between Israel and Iran. Israel can also decide that right now the Iranians are expecting a military attack by Israel, and therefore it would be more prudent to wait with this. But on the other hand, Israel knows that the Iranians were banking on a situation that the Americans will not allow Israel to make a big attack on Iran. And in a way, even if on the military side, Iran has totally failed, on the diplomatic front, I'm not sure that we are in a winning point right now.
Okay. Well, the tensions, of course, are simmering at this point in time. It remains to be seen how Israel is going to react to that. But at this point in time, Aaron, well, we do understand Israel has said, well, the US has said that 99% of the missiles that were launched were intercepted. Well, the situation at the moment is fine, but in the coming days we'll have to, of course, wait and watch how this escalates, or if now the US has said that, well, maybe, Israel shouldn't retaliate, maybe it would adhere to that, but how's the world really reacting to it? Well, the situation that has been going on between Iran and Israel for so long, it was very well on the cards. How's the world reacting to it?
This is a question for me?
Yes, for you.
Okay. I think that the point is that since we have elections this year in the US and maybe also in the UK, I think Iran was banking on a situation that it can go and attack Israel and not to be punished. I think they were banking on it. I think that if they really thought that the Americans will punish them, they would not attack Israel this night. So on one hand, we can see that all the pro-American Sunni countries around Israel, they were anti-Iranians, they helped us. And it is a total failure what the Iranians tried to do. In a way, it is a total failure, even in the sense that if yesterday somebody told Israelis that such an attack will happen and only one wounded girl will be there, nobody would believe it. But the very fact that Iran believes and still believes that at least until the end of 2024, they can do anything that they want and not get punished, I think we should be a bit more worried as Israelis and maybe also as Americans.
Okay. All right, Daniel, what do you think, in your view, if there are, of course, fears of a regional war, but we are hoping that nothing of that sort happens, because it is definitely going to disrupt the world order if that happens. Well, Israel also launches counterattack and there is an attack by Iran again. But how is that going to affect the situation on the ground in terms of crude prices, the fuel impact, the fuel prices impact it's going to have? What are we likely to see if that happens?
Well, I mean, it is happening. We're pretending it's not happening because Israel and America haven't officially said it is happening. I mean, Iran is connected through the IRGC to proxies. They are Hezbollah. They fired rockets at Israel on October 7th and have been firing ever since. Like, we could pretend that's not a war, but they're firing missiles at each other and killing each other. The Houthis are firing missiles and taking down global trade. So we're already at that point of a wider war completely funded by the IRGC. We're just kind of talking about, will both sides say it out loud? And we have this conception that if one side doesn't say it out loud, then magically it's not happening and this isn't escalation. So yes, we don't want wider conflict to blow up in this spiral into World War III. That's not what anyone wants. But to pretend that what would happen if there's a wider regional war, there is. The Houthis are shutting down ships at will. Hezbollah is firing rockets. You have, Hashal Shabi, different IRGC factions and Hezbollah shoot-offs in Iraq and Syria, firing at American troops for the last 6 months. It's happening. So what are the conditions that would allow us to en masse kind of ignore that it's happening because Israel and America don't say it's happening out loud? I don't know. It is happening. The more serious conversation would be, it's happening. How do we reduce this in some way? But we have the fiction that if Israel fires back or American fires back, then it's officially happening. But we are firing back. So
we'll have to wait and watch, of course. We'll have to wait and watch and see how the situation really unfolds. Those are the assumptions that are being made at this point in time. But yes, we do understand the situation on the ground is quite serious at the moment. Anything can happen. We'll have to, of course, maintain some caution here and see how the situation really unfolds. Thank you so much, meanwhile.